working right now, doing its thing?
It is, and
I'm kind of feeling it.
there you go. I am running the solfeggio frequencies.
Oh, cool.
It's a 40-minute program. It covers all the chakras, so it could be a good chakra balancing program. And I might add that if anybody is sensitive, I have had people report back that as the machine is running while we're talking, even though I'm here and you're over there, some people have actually reported being able to feel it. So,
Wow. Very
so
cool. So hold on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Body and Soul Expo podcast, your go-to source for holistic health and wellness. I'm your host, Bruce Starr. Mark your calendars and join us on Sunday, October 26, 2025, at the beautiful Palm Beach Gardens Marriott, because it's going to be an absolutely incredible event, a truly transformational day you won't want to miss. It's been amazing to see the response. We sold out over 70 vendor spaces in less than a couple of months. Many of these vendors are also incredible speakers ready to share their insights on both innovative and classic healing practices. You're just going to have to be there to discover it all. This expo is a culmination of our combined experience, Lauren's 3 decades in health and wellness and owning spas, and my tagging along with her during those years, plus my 4 decades in the entertainment world, from being a talent agent in Hollywood to my work on TV, podcasts, and now back on the radio on Legends 100.3 FM on Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. To stay up to date with all the announcements, follow the Body and Soul Expo page on Facebook. And for a full breakdown of everything we have in store for you, you'll be able to visit the Body and Soul Expo.org website and see all the amazing activities and everything that will be going on there. On today's show, we're diving back into the lineup, highlighting amazing talents, experiences, and knowledge of the wonderful vendors who will be with us at the Expo. So today's guest is Ms. EDNA Tunney, and she is a master educator and professional speaker who has a B.Ed and master's in educational psychology. She retired from being a high school teacher, as I did last year, a teacher and counselor, to work for her future but now late husband, Donald Tunney, in 2001. I'm sure she'll tell us a lot more about that. She has been with the Resonant Light for over 22 years and has a keen passion to share her vast experience with frequency therapy. And isn't that going to be a big wave of the future? She provides instructions for newcomers, plus high-level training to those more familiar with this technology. Worldwide audiences benefit from her talks by taking away actionable skills, new tools, and fresh motivation to impact their lives. Welcome to the show, Ms. Edna.
thank you, Bruce. I am so excited to be here today, and what a privilege. What a privilege that you have created for people like us to be able to tell the audiences what we have, what we do, and how we can benefit their wellness journey.
Imagine, Edna, 70 people, equally talented and skilled and innovative, all going to be under one roof for
Yes.
an entire day. It is going to be so exciting. We can't wait. And what was like 3 months now it's almost like 5 or 6 weeks. It's getting closer and closer. And so it's very exciting and great to finally have you on the show. So tell me, Ms. Edna, how did you, as a child, did your childhood affect what you're doing now, and where did you grow up?
Wow. Big question. I grew up on a farm, the youngest of 7. And when I graduated in 1968, we still didn't have power or electricity or running water. So I have pioneer skills. So that's how I grew up. Um, I was highly motivated to become a teacher. So at the age of 10, I knew what I wanted to do. I learned from my older siblings what I didn't want. So I bless them, and I'm grateful that I chose to be in that family because I learned a lot. And so after becoming a teacher, I have also done other things, such as I was already an entrepreneur when I was a youngster. I was selling seeds and Valentine's cards in the neighborhood, lived on a farm. Our closest neighbor was a mile away, but I still managed to do this. And I would also sell my cards and so on and so forth to the teachers at my small country school. So this entrepreneurial had been already in my, you might say, my DNA. And I taught elementary for about 8 years. Then I left that profession and I went into real estate for 3 years. It gave me another scope of what exists in the world. And I love the freedom of time. So it was difficult for me to go back to the educational institution. Nonetheless, I did go back. I got my degree in counseling and I went back to help because that was what seemed to be ingrained in me. Um, to be able to help people. I was helping my family. I wanted to help kids. I wanted just to be a helper. And in that time, even before I went into doing my master's in counseling, I did a lot of help healing things. I did therapeutic touch, I did Reiki, um, I did massage, and I later transferred those skills and knowledge and experience to actually doing courses at a college. I'm very grateful that the admin people who interviewed me accepted me to put some of these courses forward. These were only a few of the courses that I did. And so I had this entrepreneurial in me, I had the healing in me, I had the helping skills, the counseling skills. So when I came to Resonant Light, when I met Dawn in church in 2001, it wasn't till a year later that we became an item. And then in that 2002, I started working for him. And all the skills that I had experienced, all the different areas that I had worked in, they all fell into place for me to help him out in the company. So that's how I ended up. That's where I was born, what I've done, how I ended up in Resonant Light. And now I just feel like it is in my DNA. So unfortunately, Dawn passed in 2009. The company was very small at that time. We only had about 10 employees. We now have over 40, almost
Wow.
45.
Wow.
Yes. And we have developed the technology from a 55-pound device to what you see here on my left.
Can
Which is,
barely see it now.
okay,
I hope I did.
I could lift it up.
Yes, a
If
little
you
bit
just,
more, a little bit more.
okay, so this is the Pearl. We call it the photon emission resonant light. And I have frequencies running on it right now, which is the Solfeggio program. We have over 2,100 programs in our frequency generator.
Wow.
So we have programs for everything from A to Z. And I can speak to the metaphysical ones. I can speak, and I will, you ask me the questions, speak to some of the benefits that animals, plants, and people have received. So this is a very diversified piece of technology, very diversified, and yet I've been told by very intuitive people that have experienced it that it is very powerful.
So Lauren and I kind of have a similar story where we've both done a lot, and all of our skills, both hers and mine, all came together to do this amazing expo. and it's working so great. We have a Gen Z guy that's taking care of all of this, uh, computer stuff and graphic stuff, and it's an uh, amazing that we're able to take everything we've ever learned and put it into one thing and making it a success. It's already a big success, but I also want to hear more about that process and how it does help people. And if you have a story or so, I'd love to hear it.
Well, there's certainly a lot of stories. So Dawn created this, actually started building the very first device from Dr. James Baer's schematics. So Dr. Baer is a chiropractor, and he was very interested in technologies, in electronics. So he followed Tesla and Lakovsky and Royal Raymond Rife. And in the early 90s, he created a schematic to attempt to duplicate Rife's machine. So many people that are familiar with Rife will know what had transpired for him in La Jolla, California. I won't go into those details, but if anybody Google Royal Raymond Rife, they can easily find the history of him. And so when Dr. Baer had the schematics done, Don was at that time working on repairing computer towers, and his family was dealing with some health issues, and some of them have passed away from them. And so he was very interested in Dr. Baer's device when he came across it on the website. This was in the early days, we have to remember. And so Don ordered the manual for the schematics, built his very first device in about 94, 95, and he started a volunteer group in the Valley where hundreds of people came. We were a small community, but still people came, and he collected some 15,000 weeks of data. And he required the volunteers to come twice a week for 6 weeks and record their subjective experiences. He had a list of about 60 factors, everything from dreams to muscle relaxation to pain to some of the bodily functions, and so on. And what people reported, 70% of them reported that they had a noticeable benefit. Everything from pain relief to arthritis relief to sharper dreams to more clarity, to more energy, to better sleeps. So these are just some of the things that he found from the initial collection of data. And so he also did a particular person in the community who had stage 4. And then he documented all of this because he said he wanted the world to know if this was a hoax. He wanted the world to know if this worked. He wanted the world to know. So he and Dr. Baer worked quite closely and collaborated on this particular case that they had. End result was that she did very well, but unfortunately, over a period of 4 to 6 months, she quit coming to receive sessions, and the condition returned and was not reversible. So, and under Dr. Baer's and Donald's advice not to stop, she felt that she had enough energy and she was strong enough, but nonetheless, that wasn't the case. But both men did not want her to stop using the technology because they didn't know what had really happened with Rife's clients, about 14 to 16 patients that had gone into wellness.
Excellent, excellent. So
that's a big story, but
thank you for that. Thank you. So when the people that are going to be at the expo, and the attendees will come by the space. What
Mhm.
can they expect from the people who, I know you're not going to be there. What can they expect when they look into your booth and you have your people who are representing you?
Okay, what it will be Alex and Stacy that will be at the booth, and they will have the machine running. What the audience or participants and attendees can expect when they come to our booth, they can expect to see the machine running. And also the girls may run individual frequencies and say to them, where do you feel this? I often do this. I will run a particular frequency, especially at the chakra, any one of the seven chakras. And people that are sensitive will actually be able to let you know where they feel it, which is very interesting. It's undeniable. I just did a presentation in Mount Shasta with Lee Carroll and crying
Wow.
in that
Wow.
group. It was amazing. And we had about 70 people attend about a 1 hour unexpected presentation. And I would run these individual frequencies and say, where do you feel this? And they would definitely say, we had a woman that was sitting there and she had knee pain. I had run a specific frequency for pain, and it is 304 hertz. And later that day, she says, I no longer feel it, or feel any pain. The next morning, she sent me, she saw it and she said, thank you for the machine. I still am not in pain. My knee is feeling fantastic. So that's one of the things that they can experience is actual immediate results. However, that doesn't happen for everything. This is just an opportunity to experience the emission of a frequency, to experience the energy that is being emitted. Okay. And not everybody will feel something. Many people will, but not everybody. And that's okay. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. And so the other thing that may occur at the booth is because the girls will be there for a whole day, what I often do at a conference of this nature or or a trade show of this nature, I will run 40,000 hertz, probably on sine wave because it's the wave of our body, and that particular frequency will energize you. And there will be no brain fog. There will be mental clarity. There will be energy. Okay. So
For everybody.
for everybody, because that's an excellent point, Bruce, because what really happens is as this energy is being emitted from the tube, it is penetrating to the cellular level, and the cells are taking on energy. Now, Don was able to demonstrate this when he did live blood microscopy. So the red blood cells will take on energy around and on a or from the microscope, he had it televised onto his screen, and you could see how the red cells became white. They became unrollated.
Unattached. Unattached.
Unattached, exactly. And you could see this bright light around the cells. It was absolutely amazing. So even though people say they didn't receive any benefit, or anybody walking by or standing by the machine or in that vicinity for 5 minutes, they're still getting positive energy. Now, what may what other people may experience is they may not even be near the booth and they may feel the energy. I don't know what other technologies will be at the trade show or at the expo, Bruce, but this energy will be emitted in at least a 30-foot radius
Wow. How
with
exciting.
with between 8 to 12 feet will be the most beneficial range to experience it. All right.
Wow.
And some people may say, would you run a frequency for this particular chakra? So Alex and Stacy may be able to do that. Or they may say, you know what, I'm experiencing some pain here and there. You say, okay, we can run a frequency. It because of the number of people that you will have, booths that you will have at the trade show or at the expo, sorry, it probably won't be reasonable to run an entire program because the programs may run anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half or more. So that won't be reasonable to request. But in terms of answering their questions at the booth, they will be there to supply them with answers. And the girls will know that I'm just a text away. I will be in another area. I will be at home, but able to support them if that's what they require.
Wow. So the idea, I would think, would be that these folks that are going to be there, they're going to want people to make appointments with them well after this expo is over. And how can they contact you or them right now if they want to contact you to make an appointment?
Okay, what I would suggest is that people email info@resonantlight.com. And if there is enough generated interest for people to have another session, then what I would probably recommend is that my two staff members stay an extra day. And because we are in the process of booking flights and so on. So, but more information, write to info@resonantlight.com and just make sure that you mention that they've heard about it through the Body and Soul Expo, and that would be helpful as well. And we welcome all queries. So what would transpire at this very time is that people could write in or phone in. They could phone that we have a toll-free number. I believe it's 1-877-338-4949. And our receptionist would be delighted to put their call forward to one of our sales consultants and have any of their queries responded to.
Excellent. Well, this has been a great, great broadcast that we've done here. Learned so much. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for being wanting to participate at the expo. And I suspect that you're going to get a lot of positive reports back to you during and when this show is over.
Thank you, Bruce. I'm already in gratitude for this opportunity and for what still continues to arise. And
God bless. God bless. Thank you very much for doing our podcast. And we look forward to seeing your group when they come to the expo on Sunday, October 26th. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you again. Take care now. Bye, Edna.
Bye-bye.